I wanted to pick up on the last video about wounded healers and give you an example. Probably the best example in the last several decades of a wounded healer is Nelson Mandela. A man you've probably heard of. He was the president of South Africa. But before he was the president of South Africa, he was a prisoner of the South African government for 27 years for trying to end apartheid. Apartheid was a kind of legal slavery, basically, that kept the African population subjugated to the Afrikaners, the white population of South Africa. So for his struggle against that system, he was in prison for 27 years, and believe me, he wasn't well treated. When he was finally released, 27 years after being imprisoned, he said to himself, I knew that if I kept hatred and bitterness in my heart towards the people who imprisoned me, that I would still be in prison, an internal prison, a prison of hatred and depression and despair. And so he knew he had to let go of that. And what he championed instead was the idea of unity and the idea of unity and diversity, bringing people from various backgrounds together in peace to have a new future for South Africa. That's an example of what can be called successful suffering. He is a wounded healer, 27 years of a wound and all that went before that. And he turned it into something big, turned it into something bigger than himself, a compassionate worldview that helped unite a country. Now, not all of us are going to get a chance to run a country. But the little acts of kindness for that kid who's just been bullied or been, put down, or the person who's been, trolled online, or, any number of ways that we can be compassionate to someone else who is suffering. That's an example of you being a wounded healer. So don't look at the suffering you're going through now as the end of the story. It might just be the beginning. It might just be the wounded part of you growing into a wounded healer.